40 years ago, American pilots flew F-15s against MiG-21s. 20 years ago, they piloted F-15s in combat exercises with J-10s and J-11s. Now, American pilots are preparing to fly F-15s against the J-20. Recently, 2 F-15X fighters belonging to the 85th Test Squadron arrived at Kadena Air Base, commencing training missions to validate deployment procedures and logistical support capabilities. This initiative aims to accumulate operational experience for future deployment of the same aircraft type at Kadena. According to Pentagon plans, starting in 2026, 36 F-15X fighters will be deployed in the Okinawa region to replace 50 F-15Cs that entered service in the 1980s, thereby strengthening combat capabilities along the first island chain. Okinawa corresponds to China's East China Sea direction, which is also a key deployment area for China's advanced fighter jets. The U.S. deployment of the F-15X in this region indicates the U.S. military's confidence that the F-15X can counter China's new fighter jets, including the J-20. According to the Pentagon, the F-15X can effectively fulfill all air superiority roles, including defensive and offensive air dominance capabilities against enemy fifth-generation fighters, making it the most capable non-stealth fighter. Both the National Interest website and Taiwanese media emphasize the F-15X's defensive value. Should conflict loom, the limited and costly F-22 and F-35 would prove unreliable platforms. The F-15X, however, boasts superior speed and payload capacity, outperforming the F-16V in air superiority, intercept, and ground penetration strike capabilities. The U.S. will deploy the F-15X as its primary interceptor against the J-20. Why do Americans place such confidence in the F-15? Its greatest credibility stems from combat provenance. As a classic fighter with a 50-year service history, the F-15 Eagle holds an unprecedented record, having participated in over 100 aerial engagements. It has shot down more than 100 enemy aircraft while never being shot down itself. The F-15's acknowledged combat losses were all attributed to anti-aircraft artillery and surface-to-air missiles. In contrast, its American counterparts like the F-14, F-16, and F-18 have all been shot down in combat by the Mirage F-1, Mirage 2000, and MiG-25. As for fifth-generation fighters like the F-22 and F-35, they have yet to engage in a single proper aerial combat mission. It is highly unlikely they will achieve the F-15's astonishing air-to-air kill ratio. Benefiting from America's formidable aerospace technology at the time, the F-15 has remained in active service since the 1970s. During Israel's large-scale airstrikes against Iran, the F-15 still served as the undisputed mainstay. Developed to address lessons learned from the Vietnam War, the F-15 boasts an outstanding thrust-to-weight ratio, low wing loading, and exceptional supersonic performance. Coupled with America's advanced avionics, it long held the title of the world's most capable fighter jet. Even after the Soviet Su-27 entered service, the F-15 maintained its edge against the Soviet Union's most advanced fighters through its superior avionics. In the 1980s, the U.S. sold F-15s to the Japan Air Self-Defense Force. Leveraging the F-15's superior maneuverability and extended range, the JASF gained absolute dominance over the skies of the East China Sea. The PLA's J-6 and J-7 fighters, limited by their range, were unable to engage effectively. It wasn't until the 21st century, when the East Sea Fleet Air Force equipped itself with the Su-30 Mk2 heavy multi-role fighter, and the PLAF adopted the J-11B heavy fighter, that the situation gradually shifted. However, the F-15's design is exceptionally classic, having been built with ample room for upgrades from the outset. Through continuous modernization, it continues to maintain formidable combat effectiveness. Originally focused solely on air-to-air combat, with the claim that not a single pound of weight is dedicated to ground attack, the U.S. later developed the F-15E from the two-seat F-15D. This involved redesigning the engine bay and structural components, adding conformal fuel tanks that increased range by 33% and doubling weapon pylon capacity. During the Gulf War, the F-15E flew over 1,000 sorties, employing laser-guided bombs and air-to-ground missiles to destroy numerous Iraqi military targets. Originally codenamed Strike Eagle, the F-15E earned the nickname Mud Chicken from the U.S. military, capable of executing the elegant task of air combat while also handling the dirty, grueling work of ground attacks. Until 2010, the F-15 remained virtually unmatched globally thanks to its advanced avionics and weapon systems. Prior to 2010, the J-11B's avionics were less comprehensive than the F-15Es, and China's domestically produced PL-12 air-to-air missile was not yet fully mature. Leveraging the performance advantages of the AIM-120C, the F-15 still held the upper hand in air combat. It wasn't until after 2015, with the J-10C, J-16, and J-20 entering service, that the shadow cast by the F-15 over China's skies finally dissipated. After the turn of the 21st century, with the F-22 and F-35 entering mass production, the U.S. Air Force ceased ordering F-15 fighters. The F-15 production line was entirely dedicated to manufacturing export variants of the F-15. The turning point came in 2017 when Qatar placed an order with Boeing for 36 F-15QA fighters. These F-15QAs, ordered by the cash-rich Middle Eastern customer, were equipped with the most advanced features: digital flight controls, active phased array radar, all-glass cockpits, and advanced sensors. This coincided with former Boeing executive and acting U.S. Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan's vocal criticism of the F-35 fighter. To prevent Lockheed Martin from monopolizing fifth-generation fighter supply, Shanahan compelled the U.S. Air Force to order a batch of F-15 fighters, an upgraded variant of the F-15QA designated as the F-15X. Given the Air Force's existing fifth-generation fleet, convincing them to adopt a fourth-generation fighter required the F-15X to deliver exceptional capabilities. Its standout features include the AN, a PG-82ES, a radar, a fifth-generation central processing unit, an open mission system, and the Digital Eagle active, passive warning system. These enhancements ensure battlefield survivability despite the aircraft's lack of stealth capabilities. Additionally, the F-15X boasts enhanced payload capacity and range, with a maximum payload of 13.5 tons and the ability to carry up to 22 air-to-air missiles. Its maximum range exceeds 3,000 kilometers. Following upgrades, the F-15X can simultaneously carry 5 AGM-158 cruise missiles, providing conventional strike and deterrence capabilities at a relatively low cost. Objectively speaking, the F-15X's advanced avionics and weapons systems give it combat capabilities comparable to the J-16, with advantages in speed and payload capacity. The integration of the Eagle's active, passive threat detection system and the Legion infrared electro-optical targeting pod theoretically enables the F-15X to engage fifth-generation fighters. The U.S. Air Force's deployment of the F-15X to Okinawa demonstrates confidence in its performance. It has likely undergone exercises against the F-22 and F-35, achieving satisfactory results, which is why it can now be deployed to the front lines to face the J-20. When confronting the J-20, the F-15X possesses advantages that neither the F-22 nor the F-35 can match. Compared to the F-22, the F-15X actually boasts more advanced avionics and can carry a greater number of air-to-air missiles. While the F-22's active phased array radar struggles to detect the J-20, the F-15X's infrared electro-optical pod has a chance of spotting it. Furthermore, the F-15X's combat radius far exceeds that of the F-22, making it better suited for missions in the Asia-Pacific region. But can the F-15X truly defeat the J-20? The answer is clearly no. No matter how much it is upgraded, the F-15 remains a 50-year-old platform, and its lack of stealth capability is a fundamental flaw. With an RCS of 1,015 square meters, the J-20's radar locks onto the F-15 from roughly 200 kilometers away. Even the most advanced Legion pod cannot detect a fifth-generation fighter from that distance. This single factor alone ensures the F-15X would be forced into a purely reactive role against the J-20. As for the Eagle's active, passive survivability warning system, its performance is merely on par with the Rafale's Spectre combat system range. The J-10CE can down a Rafale using the PL-15E missile, and the J-20, equipped with its own variant of the PL-15, has every reason to be capable of handling the F-15X. At best, the F-15X's combat capability matches that of the J-16. Its advantage over the J-16 lies in greater missile capacity. The F-15X can carry over 20 AIM-120s. The J-16's strength is its longer missile range, with its dedicated PL-15 variant exceeding 160 kilometers. Moreover, the F-15X requires an external infrared electro-optical pod, whereas the J-16 integrates its infrared search and track system internally. The F-15's active, passive warning systems also fall short of the J-16's comprehensive electronic countermeasures suite. Moreover, The number of F-15X fighters currently in service with the U.S. Air Force is roughly comparable to that of the Type 055 destroyers. Meanwhile, the Chinese Air Force has over 200 J-20 fighters in active service. Even if all 36 F-15X fighters were deployed to Okinawa on schedule, they would be but a drop in the bucket against the overwhelming numbers of J-16 and J-20 fighters. The F-15X's sole purpose is to serve as a deterrent force at the onset of conflict, buying sufficient time for U.S. reinforcements to arrive. While the F-15X cannot win air-to-air combat against the J-20, its superior weapons carrying capacity allows it to harass fleets with cruise missiles. Until the PLA eliminates these 36 F-15Xs, its fleet cannot safely conduct amphibious operations. This buys time for B-1B strategic bombers deep within U.S. territory to prepare for deployment. The F-15, once a legendary fighter that witnessed the U.S. Air Force's global dominance, is now poised to witness its own decline. This is not due to the F-15X's technological limitations, but because fifth-generation fighters like the J-20 have long surpassed the operational parameters established during the F-15's design era.